As we perceive our Earth in totality, the interrelatedness of humanity becomes more and more apparent. We recognize that the physical elements required for our sustenance bind us, if not yet together, at least to a common condition. The spiritual elements connecting mankind have been regenerated again and again at crucial moments throughout history by messiahs, prophets, and avatars. This phenomena of spiritual regeneration is occurring again in our time. Those with ears to hear are beginning to listen. The voice is that of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, revered by millions as a divine incarnation, an avatar. While described by the London Times as the most impressive holy man in centuries, he himself says his life is his message. He lives it openly and invites the scrutiny of those who would believe, not through blind faith, but through inquiry and reason.
The South Indian village of Puttaparthi is nestled along the Chitravati River at the foot of a circle of barren hills 127 miles north of Bangalore. Puttaparthi is too small to be found on any map. It is miles from the nearest highway and approachable only over unpaved roads. The village is blessed with 3 temples and a mosque. Its people live their lives and farm their land, much as their ancestors have over the past centuries. At sunrise on the morning of November 23rd, 1926, the prayers of a pious Hindu woman were answered when she gave birth to a son in a small house which formerly stood on this site. Witnesses recall untouched musical instruments resounding on their own in the house, and a mysterious cobra, a traditional sign of divinity, was later found under the newborn baby. The child was named Satya Narayana Raju. As he grew, it became apparent young Satya, whose name means truth in Sanskrit, was different from other children. He was helpful to the villagers, doing work unselfishly. Called Guru by his playmates, he led them in devotional songs before school and fascinated and amused them by materializing candy, pencils, and playthings from an empty bag. The miraculous ability to create objects, transform matter, and heal the sick, which manifested spontaneously in the child, has continued for over 40 years to amaze all who experience it. In May of 1940, 13-year-old Satya put aside his school books and announced to his startled family that he was the reincarnation of a holy man named Sai Baba of Shirdi. While unknown in the region around Puttaparthi, Sai Baba of Shirdi was revered in the north by Muslims and Hindus. He dressed like a Muslim, but wore ash on his forehead in the Hindu custom. He slept one night in a mosque, the next in a temple. At a time and place where religious rivalries had caused wars, he achieved peace and mutual respect between the faiths by his example. As he was dying, Sai Baba of Shirdi told his followers he would reincarnate in 8 years. 8 years later, Satya Narayana was born. After revealing his identity in 1940, young Satya told his parents he belonged with them no longer, explaining his devotees were calling and it was time for him to go. He left school in October of his 13th year and began to gather followers around him. At first, there were few disciples and he lived in comparative obscurity. As more and more began to recognize his exceptional nature, he said to them, "You have easy access to me now. A few years hence, you will have to get a glimpse of me standing miles away. There will be such crowds." the young man's fame spread throughout the region. When Sathya reached the age of 20, his elder brother, a school teacher in a neighboring township, wrote him a letter expressing concern about the dangers inherent in fame and public attention. Sathya responded to these concerns in a letter written May 25, 1947, in which he said, in part,
"My dear one, let me tell you, it is impossible to plumb the hearts and discover the natures of those who have acquired spiritual wisdom. We have to stick to our own right path without getting affected by popular appraisal. It is not the way of the great to swell when people offer worship and shrink when people scoff. They themselves know the path they must tread. Their wisdom regulates and makes their acts holy. Self-reliance, beneficial activity, these two are their special marks. Why should you be affected by worry as long as I am adhering to these two? After all, the praise and blame of the populace do not touch the reality. They can only touch the outer physical frame. I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure for all lives full of bliss. I will not give up my mission nor my determination. I know I will carry them out. I treat the honor and the dishonor, the fame and blame that may be the consequence with equal equanimity. I act and move only for the sake of mankind. No one can comprehend my glory, whoever he is, whatever his method of inquiry, however long his attempt. You can yourself see the full glory in the coming years. I have no need to write these words. I write them because I felt you would be pained if I do not reply. Thus, your Baba."
So it was that in 1947, Sathya Sai Baba gave his elder brother a prophetic glimpse into the future. In the early years, there was no ashram at Puttaparthi. Then, in 1950, construction of a prayer hall began at the foot of a hill on the outskirts of the village. Soon, other buildings were added and a name was given, Prasanthi Nilayam, the abode of peace. Although the prayer hall would be changed in later years, Sai Baba still lives there in the 2 small rooms built for him at this time. The early ashram was large enough to accommodate the increasing numbers of devotees who found themselves drawn to this young man. During the 1960s, as Sai Baba's name spread throughout India, religious festivals regularly attracted 20 or 30,000 followers to this remote spot. Hindus of differing sects, Muslims, Sikhs, and Christians, people who remembered well the religious wars following the partition of their country by the British in 1947, less than 20 years before, now came to experience the healing and unifying power of Sai Baba's message of universal love. By the 1970s, people from all over the world had begun to visit Prasanthi Nilayam, and it became necessary to rebuild much of the ashram to accommodate the vast numbers, up to 100,000 now on a festival day. The personal freedom of a carefree village boy gradually had become the confinement of one without privacy, watched constantly by devotees hoping for a look or a word, a willing captive of the love he inspired. What has intrigued observers of Sai Baba's life is not only how his birth completed the prophecy of Sai Baba of Shirdi, and his life has carried out the prophecy in the letter to his brother, but how, to a remarkable degree, he has also fulfilled a scriptural prophecy made more than 5,000 years ago. In the Mahabharata, the ancient Hindu testament, Lord Vishnu, the preserver and protector of the universe, foretold of a Kali Yuga corresponding to our present age, which would be marked by moral and spiritual decline, by political corruption, oppression, dishonesty, crime, and the prevalence of falsehood. Then Lord Vishnu said,
When evil is rampant upon earth, I will take birth in the family of a virtuous man and assume a human body to restore tranquility by the extermination of evils. In the coming Kali age of sin, I will assume a human avatar form that is dark in color. I will be born in a family in South India. This avatar will possess great energy, great intelligence, and great powers. Material objects needed for this avatar's mission will be at his disposal as soon as he will think of them. He will be victorious with the strength of virtue. He will restore order and peace in the world. This avatar will inaugurate a new era of truth and will be surrounded by spiritual people. He will roam over the earth adored by the spiritual people. The people of this earth will imitate this avatar's conduct, and there will be prosperity and peace. Men will once more betake themselves to the practice of religious rites. Educational centers for the cultivation of Brahmic lore and temples will reappear again everywhere. Ashrams will be filled with men of truth. Rulers of the earth will govern their kingdoms virtuously. The avatar will have an illustrious reputation.
This prophecy is corroborated in the ancient classic scripture, the Vishnu Purana, which also mentions that this avatar will display superhuman powers in establishing the new age of truth. It adds, his parents will be devotees of Vishnu and will reside in a village worshipping the cowherd form of Lord Krishna. In fact, Sai Baba's mother and grandmother worshipped the aspect of Vishnu called Satya Narayana for months before he was born, and Puttaparthi village was formerly Golapali, meaning home of the cowherds. So it is that the life of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba appears to be fulfilling ancient prophecies and scripture. The city of Bombay is India, in fact the world in microcosm. It contains the sophistication of contemporary life over a layer of poverty and need which reflects the timelessness of the human condition. The spiritual teachings of Sathya Sai Baba are addressed with directness and simplicity to the hearts of all people. The difficulty lies not in understanding them, but in putting them into practice in daily life. In August 1976, Sathya Sai Baba granted his first interview to a member of the press. The interviewer was R.K. Karanjia, editor-in-chief of a weekly magazine called Blitz, printed in Bombay with a circulation in the millions. The circumstances surrounding the interview are important in view of the spirit of inquiry with which Sai Baba encourages everyone to come to him. Karanjia was an avowed Marxist and considered himself a sophisticated atheist with no use or regard for the spiritual traditions of his country. Blitz magazine reflected his attitudes. His decision to travel to South India to visit Sai Baba was the result of a challenge made by a colleague who confronted Karanjia with the fact that it was inconsistent to consider himself an objective reporter when he had formed his opinions about Sathya Sai Baba without ever having seen or met him. Karanjia agreed and made plans to go to Sai Baba's ashram. During the course of his visit, he was granted an interview. He later wrote,
Baba not only radiated powerful emanations of what I could only describe as spiritual love and grace, but went on to amaze me with knowledge of the most intimate developments affecting my life and work. He appeared also to know beforehand the questions I had planned to ask. As soon as I began asking one, he would stop me with a gentle tap on the knee to begin answering it. I never completed a question. Still, I got all the answers.
This experience convinced Karanjia of the truth of Baba's words and inspired profound changes in his life. Much of the following narration has been drawn from Sai Baba's responses during that interview. As we hear his words, we will see him walking among his devotees at Prasanthi Nilayam, accepting their letters and occasionally manifesting vibhuti ash. We will see him at Brindavan, next to the site of the Sathya Sai Baba College for Men, in a rural South Indian village, and at the Dharmak Kshetra, a center for service activities in Bombay.
God is man and man is God. All of us have something of God, the divine spark within us. All men are divine like myself, but with a spirit embodied in human flesh and bone. The only difference is that they are unaware of this godhood. They have come into this karmic prison through the mistakes of many lives. I have taken this mortal form out of my own free will. They are bound to the body, while I am free of this bondage. The main difference is that they are shoved hither and thither by desire, but I have no desire except the Supreme One to make them desireless. Whenever strife, discord, and disharmony overwhelm the world, God incarnates in human form to show mankind the way to love, harmony, and peace. The avatar takes a human form and behaves in a human way so that humanity can feel kinship with divinity. At the same time, he rises to godly heights so that mankind also can aspire to reach God. The realization of the indwelling God as the motivator of life is the task for which avatars come in human form. Therefore, in my present avatar, I have come armed with the fullness of the power of the formless God to correct mankind, raise human consciousness, and put people back on the right path of truth, righteousness, peace, and love to divinity. The vibhuti ash I materialize is a manifestation of divinity with a potent significance as well as symbolization. It is symbolic of the cosmic, immortal, and infinite nature of all forms of God, Atma, or the Spirit. That is, what is left when everything worldly, transient, and changeable has burnt away. In the first place, it is symbolic of the life-death cycle in which everything ultimately reduces itself to ash. For dust thou art, and unto dust shall thou returnest. Ash or dust is the final condition of things. It cannot undergo any further change. In the spiritual context, vibhuti constitutes a warning to the receiver to give up desire, to burn all passions, attachments, and temptations in the fires of worship, which makes one pure in thought, word, and deed. It is in order to press home this lesson that I materialize ash for those who come to me with love and devotion. Like the other materializations, it also acts as a talisman, healing the sick and giving protection to those who need it. It is a symbol of divinity, quite different from magic trickery. My powers to protect, heal, save people, and materialize objects originate in God and can be used only by an avatar.
An avatar is known by 16 signs. The first 15 are control of the 5 functions of the body, control of the 5 senses of the body, and control of the 5 elements of nature. These qualities are attainable through spiritual practices and disciplines. It is the 16th quality, unattainable through human evolution and existing only in the descent of the divine incarnation, which brings Sathya Sai Baba's miraculous powers into perspective. Called omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence, it is infinite consciousness. Einstein recognized the law in nature which says energy equals matter multiplied by the square of the speed of light. E equals mc squared. Thus, science proved the ancient yogic precept that matter and energy are two sides of the same coin, and it began to recognize matter as condensed energy moving along a continuum of constantly changing forms. The transformation of matter to energy and energy into matter occurs at the speed of light, in the realm of light. That same light which has been perceived throughout time in all religions as divine energy. An avatar is able to materialize and dematerialize objects, to direct his awareness throughout the cosmos, to move with the speed of light, and use the power of light in his mission. Unencumbered by demands of the body or laws of nature, his consciousness is one with the primal energy of creation, and is, therefore, infinite. To one with infinite consciousness, free even from space and time, what may appear to us as miraculous is the simple interplay of primary forces. Sai Baba is seen here accepting letters from his devotees in which they ask for his help, blessings, or a much sought-after personal interview.
The miracles I perform belong to the boundless power of God. So far as I am concerned, they are evidence of my divinity. It is not by any means an exhibition of divinity. All performances of magic, as you know, are done for the sake of income. These are tricks of the magician's trade. They constitute a kind of legalized cheating, the transfer of an object from one place to another by a trick of the hand which goes unnoticed. They involve no city or miraculous power. What I do is quite a different act of creation. It is neither magic, nor is it city power either. For one thing, I seek no return. For another, I do not cheat people by transferring objects, but I create them. Again, I do so not because of any need or desire of exhibition of my powers. For me, this is a kind of visiting card to convince people of my love for them and secure their devotion in return. Since love is formless, I use materialization as evidence of my love. It is merely a symbol. Most people desire talismans symbolic of my protection, so I provide them. When they are in trouble, they feel the grip of the ring, bracelet, or watch to remember me and call me to their rescue so that I can help them. On the other hand, if I give them something they cannot wear, they are likely to store it and forget about it. These trinkets or talismans give people a sense of security and protection they need in time of trouble or crisis, and create a symbolic link covering the long distances between them and myself. When the devotees need me, these objects flash the message as if by wireless, and I instantly come to their rescue. I can cure, save, even resurrect people provided they are in a spiritually receptive condition. It is like the positive and negative currents of electricity. My capacity to heal can be compared to the positive current. Your devotion to me is the negative current. Once the two come together, the devotion provides what is called the miracle of healing. It is man's mind that is really responsible for his illness or health. He himself is the cause or motivator of either. So when it comes to healing or curing, the necessary faith has to be created within his mind for the purpose. All I do is invest him with the confidence, will, and power to cure himself. It is my abounding love reciprocated by the intensity of the devotee's faith in me that produces the desired result. The godliness which is present in everybody in the form of a little spark exists in me as the full flame. It is my mission to develop every little spark of God in everyone to the fullness of the divine flame. The first imperative of this development is that the receiver of the grace also provides from his or her side the devotion necessary to the consummation. Those who carry the presence of Baba in their hearts, like an indwelling God, belong to this kind of devotee. They come to me, see me, and hear me, experience my love for them, and receive it with devotion. Thus, they become part of me in my divinity. To the doubting or confused ones, I give this illustration. Those who want to secure pearls from the sea have to dive deep to fetch them. It does not help them to dabble among the shallow waves near the shore and say that the sea has no pearls and all stories about them are false. Likewise, if a person wants to secure the love and grace of this avatar, he must also dive deep and get submerged in Sai Baba. Then only will he become one with me and carry me in his innermost heart. Today, evil is so widespread that humanity itself would be destroyed in a nuclear holocaust in the event of a world war. It is to prevent such a catastrophe that this avatar has come to raise human consciousness and save the world from disaster. There are two ways in which an avatar can help people avert calamities: an instant solution as against a long-term one. Any instant solution would go against the fundamental quality of nature itself, as well as the karmic law of cause and effect. Most people live in the material world of their desires and egos, which is governed by this law. They reap the fruits of their actions. This brings about their evolution or devolution. If the avatar intervenes to instantly solve their problems, it would stop all action, development, even evolution. This solution can be ruled out because it totally negates the natural laws. The other and more effective alternative presents a long-term solution whereby the avatar leads the people themselves to a higher level of consciousness to enable them to understand the truth of spiritual laws. This will relate them back to nature and the karmic law of causation. They would then transcend the cycle of cause and effect in which today they are involved as victims, and thereby command and control the natural forces to be able to avert calamities like earthquakes, floods, droughts, famine, and epidemics. If the avatar brings calamities to an immediate end, which I can and do, when there is a great need, the whole drama of creation with its karmic law will collapse. These calamities occur not because of what God has made of man, but really because of what man has made of man. Therefore, man has to be unmade and remade with his ego destroyed and replaced by a transcendent consciousness, so that he may rise above the karmic cycle to command nature and avert its calamities. This is the work of the avatar, which I am presently doing.
15 miles east of the city of Bangalore, on the railway line to Madras, lies Whitefield, where Sai Baba has a residence called Brindavan. Here at Brindavan, Sai Baba walks daily among those who gather on the grounds of the compound as he gives darshan, translated as the sight and presence of a holy man. This constant accessibility is a welcome surprise to those who come expecting a figure of such towering spirituality to be remote and somehow unapproachable. While accepting letters asking for help and guidance, both physical and spiritual, he emphasizes repeatedly that he wants nothing from them but love. By a gentle wave of his hand, Sai Baba materializes vibhuti, giving it as a blessing and for healing. Sai Baba says,
"Come to me with empty hands. I shall fill them with gifts and grace. If your hands are full, what am I to fill them with? Bring to me all the evil in you, and leaving that here, take from me what I have, love. Learn the capacity to see all as moved and motivated by one supreme God. Why fear when I am here? All your sins are forgiven the moment you get my darshan. I shall carry all your burdens. Take as much bliss as you can from me, and leave with me all your sorrows."
Adjacent to the residence is the Sathya Sai College of Arts, Science and Commerce for Men. It is here that the nationwide education program begun in the late 1960s is flourishing. The construction of these schools and colleges is financed by a central educational trust established through the State Bank of India, which accepts contributions solely for this purpose. This college is the nucleus of a growing number of educational facilities throughout the country. In the years since opening, the Sai colleges have come to be acknowledged among India's finest. The students regularly rank predominantly in the yearly national achievement exams. Sai Baba's educational program is for future citizens who will live not as monastics or hermits, but as householders, conducting the affairs of the world. He sees the future of India tied to a renaissance in education. Much of his own time has been devoted to the establishment of elementary schools and colleges.
Buddhi means like a sunrise.
These students will be able to take their places as future leaders of India, equipped to bring India's masses out of poverty and disease. The character of the children must be made strong and pure. Give them all the confidence and courage they need to become good, honest, self-reliant children. It is not enough if they learn something by which they can make a living. The manner of living is more important than the standard of living.
At the inauguration of the College of Arts and Science for Women at Anantapur in 1971, Sai Baba said,
"This is a college, an institution that imparts education and prepares the rising generation to be better women and better citizens. Education must open the eyes and enable them to recognize the one behind the many. When that one is known, the many can be known easily and clearly. Pursue the vast, the cosmic, the all-inclusive truth. Do not be satisfied with paltry, trivial scraps of information. Seek the knower behind the knowing process. That is the real victory."
While speaking to a group of students visiting the ashram, Baba said,
"You must learn to become a new type of leader who has passed through the crucible of service as a devotion, as a spiritual practice. Leaders who have passed through school and college and mastered the problems of the present and the future in the light of the past. Leaders who appreciate the traditions and culture of this country. Education aims, among other things, at giving instruction in the laws and properties of matter. It must also train the student in a thorough understanding of the laws and constituents of the human personality and promote his power of discrimination. Education is no education unless it extracts the milk of human kindness, kinship, and brotherhood, and makes for a universal diffusion of this feeling, administering at the same time an intensive as well as extensive knowledge of the true nature of man and of human society. Education should also be useful to men and women in their daily lives. A well-disciplined and well-integrated life on the part of students can alone save them and the society from ruin. There is no other remedy. The process of education has become a trade which results in politics without principles, education without character, science without humanity, and commerce without morality, which are useless and positively dangerous. A regular course in the discipline of meditation must also be given so that you may realize the depths of your own personality and its infinite possibilities for ensuring peace and happiness. You must be able to withdraw into yourself and meditate on your own true nature and the truth of that nature. It is the right of every seeker from every land. That is the wealth that will really save man from misery. All the rest are mere shadows, mirages, castles in the air. They drop with the body that valued them.
Sai Baba often presides over the marriage ceremonies of devotees. Here, he materializes from his hand the sacred symbolic thread as part of the ceremony.
Before getting married, each of your love was separate. Now, all of your love will come together and blossom for the better. Marriage means your life, not just a few days, weeks, or years. God has created this union of marriage. It is for self-control that two individuals get married. It is to kill the ego that two souls are brought together so they can learn to adjust to one another and forget their egos. The most important thing is understanding. Then adjustment becomes something very easy later on. Both of you have got to understand each other. Do not think in the past. Live in the moment and do one's best. This is a sacred bond, and it is a promise you are making to each other because wife is half of husband and husband is half of the wife. Half plus half is not two but one. Before marriage, you were an individual I. Now you are not I, but we. In all difficulties, all joy, all sorrow, and in all the pleasures of life, you are not individualized. Now I plus I becomes we. We. This is the real sacred promise. Today, there is the tendency of separation, not coming together. Life is full of troubles, of challenges. You should not separate because of that, but rather face them together. Now when trouble comes, even if it is small trouble, it causes separation. That should not be the tendency. One should adjust. This is giving one's heart to the other.
Love and not lust is the essence of happy life. Start the day with love, fill the day with love, spend the day with love, end the day with love. This is the way to God.
Sai Baba repeatedly emphasizes the unity underlying the religions of the world.
Let the different faiths exist. Let them flourish. Let the glory of God be sung in all the languages in a variety of tunes. That should be the ideal. Respect the differences between the faiths and recognize them as valid so far as they do not extinguish the flame of unity. I have not come to speak on behalf of any particular religion. I have not come on any mission of publicity for any sect or creed or cause, nor have I come to collect followers for any doctrine. I have come to tell you of this universal unitary faith, this path of love, this duty of love, this obligation to love.
A number of spiritual festivals are celebrated at the ashram. This parade, from Prasanthi Nilayam to nearby Puttaparthi, complete with musicians and a visiting troupe of performers, marks the installation of silver images of Vishnu and Shiva in the village. In the West, India is believed to have many gods, while in fact, Vedanta acknowledges one God with limitless attributes. The qualities, when singled out for reverence or praise, are given individual names and forms. Nevertheless, they are still part of the one boundless God. The image of Vishnu, the Lord as preserver and protector, who is all-pervading, who incarnates in succeeding ages to protect the righteous and uplift the fallen. And Shiva, the aspect of God engaged in the emergence, disintegration, and destruction of the universe. He who signifies auspiciousness, happiness, and prosperity.
There is only one God, and he is omnipresent. But to concentrate on the omnipresent, some fixed point or preliminary form is needed. And to conceive of the divine as present everywhere at all times, the mind of man is to be clarified and purified by means of certain psychological processes called sadhanas. This is the reason why not only among the followers of Hinduism, but even among Christians and Buddhists, regular rituals are prescribed for the worship of images of God. Cynics question the validity of the type of adoration and say it will only confirm faith in a superstition. Can God be a stone or a piece of paper, they ask? This attitude is not correct. By adhering to the traditionally laid down ritual worship, many aspirants have attained the vision of the omnipresent and stayed in that incommunicable bliss. The omnipresent is not absent in the icon or the picture. We do not reduce God and shut him up in a stone image. We affirm and realize that he is the icon also. We raise the image to the dimensions of the absolute. We expand the picture far beyond its frame, and through the processes of sadhana, we become aware that the picture too can be made a tool for the mind to escape from its limitations.
After the installation of the images, the procession returns to the ashram. The birth of Christ is another holy day that is celebrated at Sai Baba's residence, illuminating his teaching that truth is one, and all faiths are facets of that truth. Christianity and Hinduism share the imagery of the Lord tending his human flock. Jesus Christ as the herder of the sheep of Israel, and Lord Krishna as the cowherd boy of Brindavan. It was during one such Christmas celebration that Sai Baba spoke about Christ.
Jesus was a master born with a purpose, the mission of restoring love, charity, and compassion in the heart of man. He had no attachment to the self. He never paid heed to sorrow or pain, joy or gain. He had a heart that responded to the call of anguish, the cry for peace and brotherhood. He went about the land preaching the lesson of love and poured out his life as a libation in the sacrifice to humanity. He searched for the divine in the objective world in nature, but he soon realized that nature is a kaleidoscope picture created by one's own imagination, and sought God within himself. Here in India, his stay in the Himalayan monasteries brought him greater success. From the attitude of being a messenger of God, he declared that he was the Son of God. Later, as the Atma consciousness became stabilized, Jesus could declare, "I and my Father are one."
The physical objects manifested by Sathya Sai Baba frequently represent the religion or belief of the recipient. Dr. John Hislop, head of the Sathya Sai Council of the Americas, relates an experience when Sai Baba created a unique crucifix and presented it to him.
We were in India in the Bandipur forest at the time of Mahashivaratri, and Swami was driving around through the forest with several people to locate a place where the ceremony could be held. And we finally found a dry river bottom, and that evening we all came back again, got out of the cars and started to walk down the slope of the hill towards the dry river bottom. I happened to be walking beside Swami, and we passed a small bush. And Swami picked off 2 twigs and held them in the form of a cross like that, and said, Hislop, "What is that?" I said, "Well, Swami, it's a cross." So he then put the 2 twigs in his hand like that, and blew 3 times on his hand, and opened his hand, and there was this cross that you see here on the back of my hand. He said, "This is Christ as he really and truly was, not as artists and historians have pictured him. His stomach's all drawn in through several days of no food and so on." So I looked at it, and I said, "Well, Swami, what is that hole at the top of the cross?" He said, "That is the hole that was made in the cross to hang the cross on a standard." And he said, "Furthermore, the wood of the cross is a piece of the actual cross upon which Christ was crucified." Then he added, and I can tell you it took a little time and trouble to find a piece of that wood after some 2,000 years.
Author and parapsychologist Frank G. Baranowski, affiliated with 4 Arizona colleges, is a scientist who has explored the auras that form the biomagnetic field around the human body. As seen in this example of Carillion photography, the aura presents a clear picture which can be analyzed as to the health, energy level, and emotional state of the individual.
I came to India from America, a scientist, a researcher, studying the human aura. I've heard so much about Sathya Sai Baba from many of my intellectual colleagues, presidents of universities, physicians, psychiatrists, people who have come and touched in and have never been the same since. I have heard so much about what he is able to do, his abilities to heal, his abilities to be able to contact people telepathically to help them. Now, I saw him on a Sunday morning, very early. He was on a balcony giving blessings to many of his devotees singing below. And the aura that projected from Swami was beyond belief. It was incredible to describe. Now, the white was 5 to 6 to 7 times the size of any normal man, which would show the energy. But beyond that pattern, the blue, that intense spiritual blue, was it was limitless. Beyond that were gold and silver bands, and the aura that projected from Swami was not that of any human individual that I've ever seen. In fact, it transcended far beyond the building, the boundaries of where he was standing. I watched Sai Baba for over a week as he walked among the people, the morning and the evening, and I watched this aura. Now, the aura, most of the time when he was with people, though the bands of blue were there, signifying the spirituality, the bands of pink were far beyond any human imagination. Pink to a researcher shows a limitless, selfless love. And I watched as he walked up to people and sometimes touched them. And the amazing thing is you could watch the negativity in their aura suddenly come to life with positive feelings as he touched them. And as he walked away, part of his aura, part of his energy had mingled with theirs. His energy seems to be, well, it's endless. He never seems to tire. I watched him as he walked to a little girl in a wheelchair and tickled her. I was astounded at the aura of love that was well around them. Now, it seems that the aura that emanates from Swami definitely shows his love for people. I've met, as I say, a lot of these holy men, but none of them have made themselves as available as he does for his people. I'm risking my reputation as I make this statement, but 2 days ago, I looked into the eyes of Sai Baba, and they have a glow inside them that I've not seen in anyone else's. It was clear to me beyond any shadow of a doubt that I have looked into the face of divinity. In my estimation, Sai Baba is exactly what he appears to be, what he wants you to be, and what he tells you to be. Love. And that's what he is. Just love.
Life without desire brings divinity to man, and those who seek my grace must shed desire and greed. Riches provide a fatal temptation. They are the source and cause of human bondage. The desire to raise the standard of life can never be satisfied. It leads to multiplication of wants and consequent troubles and frustrations. Life without desire means the realization of the pure, genuine self that is the soul. Bound to desire, the self degenerates into selfishness. The soul turns into ego. The way to self-realization is to cleanse the self of this ego of selfishness. Then you reach a state of consciousness beyond the mind or intellect, revealing the true self that is God. The mind is like a cloth that covers and stifles consciousness, the threads of which are desires. If we give up the desires, the threads fall and the cloth disappears, revealing our true nature. This is what Vedanta means when it enjoins one must get rid of the ego to realize oneself. One has, therefore, to rise beyond the mind to consciousness to achieve self-realization. To gain the infinite, universal soul, the embodied self must break out of the puny, finite little prison of individuality. Desire belongs to the senses, the brain, the mind. Once you become free of it, you realize the self, Atma, consciousness, enlightenment, and become one with the cosmic power. Self-realization is God-realization. Thus man reaches God. Those who want to understand me are welcome here. It is the spirit of the investigation that is important. I do not call people here so they may bow to a god. I want them to come, see, hear, study, observe, experience, and realize Baba. Then only will they understand me and appreciate the avatar.
Not only has Sathya Sai Baba prophesied the course and duration of his life, he has said that just as he was born 8 years after the death of Shirdi Sai Baba, so his third incarnation, called Prema Sai, will be born 8 years after his own passing.
The previous avatar, Shirdi Baba, laid the base for secular integration and gave mankind the message of duty that is work. The mission of the present avatar is to make everyone realize that since the same God or divinity resides in everyone, people should respect, love, and help each other irrespective of caste, color, or creed. Thus, every work can become an act of worship. Finally, Prema Sai, the third avatar, shall promote the message that not only does God reside in everyone, but everyone himself is God. That will be the final wisdom which will enable every man and woman to rise to be God. In all the universe, there is no other planet that has human life or a similar life form. Human life is very sacred and must be appreciated as having the highest value. All life may aspire to human birth, but only through the human birth may God be realized. Here and now is the opportunity to realize the absolute goal of life. The purpose of this triple incarnation is to unite all mankind into one family with the establishment of the divinity, that is, the Atmic reality, in every man and woman, which is the basis on which the entire cosmic design rests. Once this is realized, the common divine heritage that binds man to man and man to God will become apparent, and love shall prevail as the guiding light of the universe.
There is only one caste of humanity. There is only one religion of love. There is only one God, is omnipresent.